Morning and welcome. Today will be a bit of a homeschooling journey video. It is Wednesday and that means homeschool co-op. And if you want a good laugh, I happen to be the assistant to the PE class, which is funny because I don't know how to play any games other than tennis and pickleball. But today is pickleball day, and so I have my shorts on and I've got my paddles ready, and I even found that we own a pickleball net. And so I set it up last night in the family room to see if I knew how to do it, and I did. So I'm taking that along to co-op. I'm also going to go out today to get some apples because it is applesauce making season. So I thought you'd want to come along. Okay, I don't always remember to think ahead like this, but I did last night. So I made some overnight oats for myself and my 3 girls. My husband does not like overnight oats, so don't think I'm leaving him out. I like to add pecans and walnuts. Did I mention I have a son who's allergic to walnuts? So when he moved out, and I was so sad, I cried every day for a week and a half, I consoled myself by buying a bag of walnuts. Crazy, isn't it? Okay, just this morning I realized I am the perfect height for putting you on the window. If the window is closed, it's on the part that locks. And I've heard from other people who make YouTube videos that it's nice to film with the window behind you because then you have the natural light on yourself. So let me know in the comments what you think about that. I'm enjoying my overnight oats, and the reason I'm wanting to tell you this is a little tip I learned from my oldest daughter. So she used a different recipe for the overnight oats than I did, and in the bottom of it she put peanut butter, or if you like Nutella, she would put Nutella in the bottom. I like the peanut butter, but what is really nice about it is when you get down to the bottom, you get your spoon down there, get a little bit of the creamy peanut butter mixed in with the overnight oats. It is delicious. So if you can eat oats and dairy and all that jazz, I'll go ahead and put the recipe in the description box and you can give it a try. So this is the state of my car coming to co-op. They have a free table where you can just bring things that you no longer want. So we're bringing some books and things. This book, Make Your Own Newspaper. My children are past that. And I have all of the pickleball paddles, and then in this case is the pickleball net. Oh, it's the afternoon now. We're back from co-op. I was hoping to get a little bit of footage at the co-op. I was going to be very careful to not film anybody else's child. And I thought it would just be fun to show you how I put up the pickleball net that I didn't realize I owned until last week, and I put up for the first time last night in my family room. However, things went awry when I arrived at co-op, and so I wasn't able to do any of that filming because by the time I needed to put up the net, there were too many children around. So there we go. There's no more footage once I got into the co-op. Everything went well. I'm helping, I can't remember if I said this already, I'm a helper in the PE class for the children who are 13 and up. And actually, I do think I said this when I was standing in the kitchen. I'm going to repeat it again though, since I can't exactly remember. What's funny about it is I don't really know how to play any sport other than tennis and pickleball. I am known to be very good at knowing the rules for tennis. I wish that my skill level at actually playing tennis matched the level in my mind of what I know about tennis. Alas, it doesn't. But everyone at co-op meaning, short for cooperative, the idea being that we are all homeschool parents cooperating together. Everyone needs to chip in some way. Either you're a teacher or you're a helper. So that's the class that I'm helping with. And it's an 8-week co-op, runs for 8 weeks in the fall, 8 weeks in the spring. So for this 8-week session, the mother who is teaching the PE class had the idea that each week she would focus on a different sport. And it's absolutely lovely. She's actually sharing a little bit of the history and then telling how to play the game and then adding in something creative. So for example, since today was pickleball, she shared the history, which I'm going to pause right there. If you know the year that pickleball was invented, go ahead and put it in the comments right now. And I'll tell you at the end. Wait, how would that work? Does that make any sense? Okay, forget about it. I was trying to think, if you know the year, put it in the comments and then I'll tell you, but I'm also just tell you now. It was invented in 1965. She said it was two people who were just sitting around bored, and they had the idea to, get up and play something, and all they had was a wiffle ball, some ping pong paddles, and a net that goes with badminton. But interestingly, it did not really take off until 2021, which I think I heard about pickleball in maybe 2018 and, had no idea how to play it actually until earlier this year. I just started playing in April. So there you go. That's my pickleball history. It turns out we own a pickleball net, and I went out to what we call the adventure shed. It's just a place where we keep bicycles and snowshoes and things like that last night, and I was able to set it up. If I'm able to, I'll see if we can put a picture of the pickleball net. I did take a picture of it set up in my family room, and in the family room it looked huge. It looked much more in proportion today in the gymnasium where we have co-op. But anyway, I've decided that once a month my video will focus on something to do with homeschooling. So if you're not really into homeschooling, if either A, you haven't homeschooled, or B, you don't want to homeschool, or C, you have absolutely zero interest in homeschooling, I'll try to make sure that the title of the video denotes that it's about homeschooling. And so here on after, you'll know, that's not really for me, and you won't waste your time, so to say, that week. So today, in addition to just rambling on about co-op and pickleball, I wanted to share a little bit about how I have kept my homeschool log for these many years. Oh, before I do that though, I have one more thing about pickleball. So I'm filming this portion right now in the afternoon. This is my afternoon cup of tea. If you are watching this in the afternoon, perhaps you want to pause the video right now and go get an afternoon cup of tea or a cup of coffee or a cup of hot chocolate, an herbal brew, and then come back and join me. We'll have our virtual afternoon cuppas together. Before I go on, my one more thing about pickleball is this. We came home from co-op. Oh, my youngest daughter actually didn't go today because she wasn't feeling that well. So my older daughter and I came home, we had lunch, and because we had the experience of playing a little bit of pickleball in the PE class, it was a bit tricky because there were more children than we had nets for. And then we ended with a crazy version of pickleball. I think it was called something like pickleball suicide, or no, that's not it. Killer pickleball. I forget what she called it. I'll ask her and we'll put it down on the bottom of the screen just in case you happen to find yourself with a large group of people and you want to play a crazy version of pickleball. That to say, when we left the building, we discovered that it is absolutely gorgeous out today. And so we came home with the idea that after lunch we would go up to our local park and play a game of pickleball. And it would be good for my younger daughter, who's not feeling the best, to spread out a blanket and lie out in the sun to get some sun therapy. My husband ended up going up there with us to take a walk while we played. And so this is the point of the story. We played 2 games, and she won the first one 11-1, which is no surprise. Every time she and I have played singles pickleball, she has always won. But the second game, I got into the lead and I ended up winning 11-5, or was it 11-6? Well, either way, for the first time, I won against my 15-year-old daughter in singles pickleball. So there you go. Applause, applause, applause. All right, back to the main part of the video, which is how I keep my homeschool log. And I'll get a closer shot of this. But this is it. This is what I've used. I've covered up the name of the student for the sake of privacy. I learned about this idea of a log in, well, I can't think of what year it was, but my oldest son, who's now 28, would have been going into 3rd grade. At that time in life, a couple of homeschool moms had coordinated kind of like, not just a co-op, but more of like an umbrella community of homeschoolers that the different area co-ops could all come together to learn from, to go on field trips together, to put on once a year a homeschool convention, which was held at Lock Haven University. You've seen Lock Haven University in one of my videos. If you don't remember that, we'll link it down in the description box below. So that's where the homeschool convention was, and I went every year that I knew about it. It didn't last very long because those moms eventually kind of grew out of homeschooling and went on to other things, as is wont to happen. So one of the workshops, so you would sign up for different workshops and they were all taught by homeschoolers. One of them was called 180 Days of School Before the First Day of School. So she obviously didn't have a curriculum like Sunlight, which lays out 180 days for you so that you don't have to do any of the planning. She was doing all of the planning herself. So she would, let's say, she would take her math book and she would divide up how long it would take the child to do that. And then she would actually type it out. So this is where I got the template for this. This idea of this template was from that lady all those many years ago. But what she did that I don't do, which is before the school year begins, she would actually type up, so that next to language arts, she would type, let's say, you know, the name of the book and page 1 through 3 on day 1. And then day 2, pages 4 through 6, and so on and so forth. And all of that would already be typed up. And so then as the school year progressed, she would simply put a check mark to the side showing that it had, you know, that it had occurred. And then if something went awry, she might cross out and then, you know, move it down below and whatnot. I started doing that year and I found it to be cumbersome, and I was using Sunlight. So then I felt like it was kind of redundant because Sunlight has a really nice schedule already written out. So why would I need to type that again on here? What I liked about this method though was that up until this time, all of the older homeschool moms that I had known would show me their logs, and they were usually in let's say a little tablet, you know, the tablets that are like a spiral notebook but they're on the top so they flip up, you know, kind of like a reporter, or it would actually be a spiral notebook. And so they showed that every day they would write their child's to-do list in that notebook, and then when the child did it, they would just check it off. And so that became not only the child's to-do list, but then the log. The thing I didn't like about that was that I put together a portfolio. I'll focus on portfolios in next month's homeschool video. I put together a portfolio and I didn't like the idea of having that extra notebook hanging around. So that's why when I found this method, I really appreciated it, because it's 5 days of school on one piece of paper. So that is 36 pieces of paper that I would simply hole punch and put in the beginning of my child's portfolio. And that's what I've done all of these many years later. So the log will have the child's name at the top of every page. It'll show the grade. So this is grade 10, log, week, and then it's blank. So I'll put like week 1 And then those days would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. And it has all of the subjects. Now, do they do every single subject every single day? No way. They'll do every subject every day, on a day, every once in a while. And those are what I call the heavy days of school. Well, even not even every single, because let's say on here I have music, over here I have music, PE, art, independent reader, life skills, and field trip. So they wouldn't necessarily even do all of that. So at no point really in the school year is every single one of these going to be filled in. But if it's a heavier day of school, most of it will be filled in. If it's a light day, then it might just have math, language arts, piano, and their independent reader. So I'll show you this closer in a momento. Now, you might say, why would I still take the trouble to do this when you could use the Sunlight schedule as your log? And I'll tell you why. I want to reuse the Sunlight schedule. Now, I have children that are far apart, so I will, and thankfully with Sunlight, once you buy the instructor's guide, you can do what's called, I forget their official name for it, but it's like repurchase the study guide, like an updated version of just the schedule pages, because over the years they revamp. They might put a book in, take a book out, history books might be updated, etc. You know what I mean? So you can repurchase at a much reduced rate, which is great, and I have done that. I just don't want to do it every single year because I feel like that's a lot of paper, and I just don't think things change enough that I need to do it every year. So I don't want to write on my Sunlight schedule pages. So what I do is I'll take out like 3 weeks worth of the schedule pages. I'll put them in a page protector, and then I put it on a, what is it called? There's one right here. What is it called? Oh, clipboard, on a clipboard. So see, this is, a couple weeks worth of the Sunlight schedule, along with the study guides and things, with the child's log page on top, and then I will log as they go along. Now, I have heard, in fact, I heard today, as children age, some mothers will have their children do their own log. And I think I've probably done that in the past. I feel like with my oldest and even my second, there were a couple of times where I would, when I was testing out using the Sunlight schedule page as the log, where they would just check things off themselves. But then I kind of got out of the habit of that, and I definitely know with my middle daughter, my middle child, my first daughter, who's 20 now, that I was definitely still logging for her all the way through high school. And that's fine. I'm the homeschool mom, I'm the home educator, and so I'm the one who's going to give them the to-do list based on the schedule that Sunlight has provided me with, but I am not tied to that. It can be fluid. This is a great, it's kind of like the frame of a house, and then I take the frame of the house and then I can put my own walls on and decorate however I want to. You know what I mean? That's a good metaphor. I just thought of it just this very moment. So then in everybody's log, from however many years ago, these log pages will have my own very messy handwriting, and who knows, when I'm dead and gone, they'll appreciate seeing my handwriting and thinking back to those bygone days of homeschooling together. So it's a system that has worked for me. It's a system that I appreciate. Every homeschooler has to find their own system, but I imagine that as people are, let's say, taking kids out of the public school and then starting to homeschool, there's a little bit of like, oh no, what do I do? So I'm providing this as a public service, telling you what works for me, and you might give it a try. It might work for you, it might not. It might work for your friend. Feel free to pass this information on if you know anyone who is homeschooling or thinking about homeschooling. and maybe they'd like to get on board this journey of discovery that I am on with, you know, all of these years of being a homeschool mom, thinking about what I'm going to move into as I see the end of that in sight. So let me bring you in closer, look closer so you can see what I'm talking about. So here we go. So this would be, so I would put the day, like in the state of Pennsylvania, you need to do 180 days of school. I'm not sure what that is for every other state. I would imagine it is similar. The date, and then what they did for Bible, language arts, math, history, geography, science, the read aloud, music, PE, art, independent reader, life skills, and field trip. So let's say the field trip, you know, in the older grades, the field trip would need to be an astronomical field trip in order for me to count that as a full day of school. So right now, for example, we just went to something called the Warrior Run Heritage Days, and I wrote that here, Warrior Run Heritage Days, but that was not a full day of school. So you would see on the day I did that, you know, every other things that they did that day. Here, once again, is the sunlight schedule. So this is what I would draw from, but I don't necessarily do every single thing every single day. Oh, this is Core E, and by the Great Horn Spoon and Moccasin Trail are great books. Moccasin Trail is literally one of my favorite read-alouds. Of course, I bought this core a number of years ago, so I cannot say for certain that they still have Moccasin Trail in it, but even if you don't do homeschooling and you have kids, or even if you just want to read this book yourself, I can really recommend Moccasin Trail. Here's a closer look at Moccasin Trail. It was written by Eloise Jarvis McGraw and published in 1952. Oh, and you can see it was a Newbery Medal. And it starts off, Jim, if you're still alive, come help us. Oh my word. This literally is such a good book. I can highly recommend it. When I stop to think about it, a lot of my favorite read-alouds are in Core E, at least the Core E that I own. So yeah, I would just draw from this to write up their to-do list, which I will show you in a different video about homeschooling. And then once their to-do list is complete, and I'm gonna log it, it's over here. Now, some might say that's a lot of writing of the same thing, and I would say I don't care, and I'll tell you why I don't care. One, goes back to that idea of the notebook being both the to-do list and the log. I didn't want something completely separate. I don't want their to-do list to become their log, because I want the to-do list to just be the day's thing, like the day's work. And oftentimes there's other things on the to-do list that I might write that's not going to be in the log, like a special event or an appointment, like orthodontist, or a special chore that needs to be done that day. You see what I mean? So in that case, I don't mind. And I feel like a lot of times, you know, we want to make our lives so easy that we want to like consolidate everything. And I'm all about making life easy and efficient and whatnot, but sometimes you just have to do the work and say, this is how I want it to be done because I want this outcome, and it's going to involve some work and some effort and maybe a couple more steps, but for me, that's okay. And you have to decide for yourself what is worth it for you, you know, if the juice is worth the squeeze. I like having a separate to-do list that's different from the log, because I want the log to go in the front of the portfolio. So there you go. I'm done rambling about homeschooling right now, and so why don't you come along with me whilst I go pick up some apples. It happens to be what we call applesauce making days at our house, and yes, I got that from a book back when my boys were little. One of our favorite picture books that we would get every year at the library was called something along the lines, I mean, I might have the title slightly wrong, but Applesauce Making Days is the title in my head. I never bought the book. I can picture the cover in my head, and if we can find it, We'll see if we can put it on the screen right now, so that you too, if you have a child in your life right now, whether that be your own niece, nephew, a grandchild, a neighbor, you might want to go to the local library or your local bookstore and pick up a copy of Applesauce Making Days. My girls and some of my sons too happen to love making applesauce, which is a good thing because we do it every year. So let's go get some apples. The back of this car is a bit messy. Don't judge. Not exactly YouTube ready, but oh well, this is real life. I like to use these gray tubs, which I may have mentioned in a different video, I can't remember. That way the people can keep their plastic bag and reuse them for someone else. And I don't have to worry about just throwing a plastic bag into the landfill. So let me get different bags. We're gonna get a peck. I'd love to say a peck of apples. We're gonna get a peck of Honeycrisp. Beginning to look a lot like autumn. The evening sun is about to set behind the hills over there. It's behind that tree. And isn't it shining so prettily on those leaves? Oh, it's gorgeous. The greenhouse area is a righteous mess thanks to this walnut tree that has shed all of its fruits down onto the ground. And if I were more industrious when it comes to walnuts, I would pick them up and shell them, but I am not. This has been one of my favorite annuals that I put in a pot this year, this osteospermum. I absolutely adore it. And we're supposed to get a frost tonight, so I think this will be the end of my osteospermum. For your viewing pleasure, have I ever mentioned to you how much I adore pelargoniums? Give me a pelargonium in a clay pot and you will have my heart. So these beauties, because we're supposed to get a frost tonight, the first one of the season. This isn't pelargonium, that's mint. These beauties will be coming inside. So I'm just back from the orchard. Now I need to get all of my beautiful, dear beloved pelargoniums into the plant room for safekeeping. One or two of them I'll probably put on a plant stand in the living room.
Things we want to change in the house. Do you want to say?
Well, I'm going to end this video where I began it because I like this window. I hope that you enjoyed this video. A little bit of just normal life, everyday life, homeschool co-op, a little chat about how I log, going to get apples for applesauce, making days, and now I will sign off. and get to the task of saving my pelargoniums from the first frost. Today wasn't much of an outfit for an outfit of the day, but I will comment that this scarf I've had for years, and my husband bought it for me. It came from a place called Serve International, which sells fair trade products so that people in other parts of the world can get a fair wage for the products that they make. And these earrings, which I love, and I haven't worn in a really long time, but I just discovered them the other day. I bought at a little shop in Williamsport called Patina's. I will put both of those websites in the description box below. Thanks for watching. You take care.